Okay, I'm back on the MyFord Super 7 and in the process of stripping more components. It's a bit of a long, tedious process, but I'll just do one component or 2 or 3 components at a time and just work my way around until I've got them all done. It's turned pretty cold here in Sydney at the moment. It's only about 14 degrees outside, so it's not really conducive to painting. So in the meantime I can just spend some time preparing for paint. So all these components need to be stripped. They've got the original MyFord grey on, and at some point in the history of this lathe someone's actually painted over the top of the MyFord grey with looks to be a water-based colour, because it just flakes off very easily. It's never been done properly. I'm not using a MyFord colour, I'm using a machine grey colour, which I quite like. I'm not going for complete originality, but it will be fairly close to the MyFord grey. So that should take probably 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'll start scraping this stuff off. It's already coming off here, as you can see. Very messy process, but has to be done. I could just paint over it, but I prefer to get it back to bare metal and do it properly. A long process. I started renovating this lathe probably coming up for 2 years, and probably take me another 2 years. I just do this when I get some time and if I have the inspiration to do it. I'll let this go off, and then I'll get the scraper and start scraping. I'll also get some gloves. Very messy process. It does come off fairly easily, but it is a messy process. And you can see this stuff underneath is original, and MyFord would have spread this on their casting prior to painting, and I'll do something similar. I'll put some body filler on it where I think I need it, and almost prepare it like a car. Sand it back till it's nice and smooth, and that way you get the best finish on it when you come to paint. Okay, this plate's been stripped back and wire brushed. I need to get the wire brush in here and get rid of this paint, but my battery's gone flat, so I can't really do that at the moment. This part here has also been stripped back. Again, I need to wire brush in here. This part has got a lot of filler in it, which I'll have to fix that. I'll have to re-skim it and sand it back before I paint. And as per normal, I'll give this a couple of coats of etch primer. I'll then give it a coat of high build primer, sand it back really smooth before I give it 3 coats of epoxy enamel machine grey, and I add a paint hardener to that, which should give it a little bit of extra durability. Okay, I'll stick to these 3 parts. I'll get those painted before I start on these other parts. That way it doesn't get too boring for me, and there's a lot of hard work involved, so I like to just do it a little bit at a time, and it gives me inspiration to move on to the next pieces. Okay, I've got some body fillers on this part. I'll just rub it all back, get it nice and smooth, ready for painting. I've already gone over it with fillers and rubbed it back and filled it again with more fillers, just to fill some tiny little imperfections, but we'll get them out. That's one there that's gone. Another one here. And I didn't realise before I started on this lathe that MyFord did a lot of this from new, so they obviously got their castings straight from the mould, probably wire brushed them off and used this filler to create a nice smooth surface for their paint. You can see the white stuff is actually MyFord filler, the brownish stuff is mine. I use this little stick to mainly get into these tight areas and try and get it flat. That makes a huge difference when you come to paint, if you've got a nice surface. Preparation, preparation, preparation. That's what it's all about. You can wrap the paper around the stick to create a little rounded, well, form it into a round shape so that you can get the little radiuses on the bosses for the gears. These are the hardest bits. It's difficult to get to and difficult to sand. For painting, wax and grease remover on all parts, and probably 2 or 3 coats of etch primer. This one, as I said before, has been filled in. I'll etch prime that, then 2 or 3 coats of a high build primer, rubbed back with some wet and dry. give it a nice smooth finish prior to the final coat. Okay, all these parts have been sprayed in a high build primer. This is the last one. These parts have been sprayed. I've sanded them back with I think a 600 grit paper, and these are ready for a final coat. And I'll use my standard epoxy paint, machine grey, with an additional paint hardener in it, and this will be the next job. I think these two pieces may well be black. I'll have to check that before I paint. Okay, I've mixed my paint. I mix it 50-50, 50 parts grey enamel paint and 50 parts enamel thinners, and I also add the paint hardener to that as well. I'll probably let it sit there for 5 to 10 minutes and then I'll spray the parts, and we'll come back and show you that soon. These parts have been painted. Pretty reasonable finish on them. 3 coats of machine grey. I'll let these dry, and within 2 or 3 days they should be fairly hard and good to go. Okay, these are the pieces I painted yesterday. Probably painted them about 24 hours ago. Hopefully you can see the finish, which I'm pretty happy with. They'll continue hardening over the next couple of weeks. This is the sort of finish I'm trying to achieve on these pieces. I want this lathe to look as good as it can. Hopefully you can see that. these little support brackets, if I can get a better light on it. Probably see that. Bring it into the sun. Maybe you can see that better. Quite happy with that finish. And this is a motor support plate. I'll lay out the other pieces which I've finished over the last couple of years, and you can have a look at that as well. Okay, I've laid out on this table all of the bits of this Super 7 lathe that I've managed to strip back, clean up and paint over the last probably 2 years. It's a long time consuming process. That's the quick change gearbox. It was in a bit of a state. The label's not perfect, but it's the original label, and I'll probably just keep it there. I'm probably about halfway through the restoration of this lathe, and I can see myself spending at least another couple of years on it. As I showed you before, these are the latest parts here that I've done. They're not quite dry and hardened yet. These are the covers, belt covers, etc. that you've seen on my previous videos or slides. And this is the sort of standard of finish that I'm after. I'm very, very happy with it. I hope you can see that in the video. Very, very nice finish. It's not the exact MyFord colour, but I like it. You've seen the video of me restoring this motor. I'm still not 100% sure if it's the one that I'll use, but I enjoyed restoring it anyway. There's the tailstock. Cross slide apron. It's got a few battle scars on it, which not much I can do about that. I could buy a brand new one, but they're like a lot of MyFord parts, extremely expensive. Quick change gearbox, etc. I hope that gives you a fair idea of the sort of work involved and where I'm up to at the moment. Okay, this is the lathe bed, which I'm not sure whether I should attack that next or leave it till last, along with the cabinet. The cabinet needs to be stripped back to bare metal, fill in any dings that I can find before I paint it. You can see someone's painted it with a brush with a water-based paint. That's the original MyFord colour. And if I just pick up a piece here and put it next to the original colour, it's not that far away, but it is a little bit different. I don't know if you can see that. It's fairly close, but not exactly correct. The bed itself probably needs machined. Not sure whether I'll do that yet. Yeah, I'll make that decision at some point. I should measure it all up and just see how bad or how good it is. But this is a 1962 model. I've checked the serial number on it, and it was manufactured in England, of course, in 1962. But I'll get to that as time progresses. There's a lot of work in that. These are some of the bits and pieces that obviously still need to be stripped back, filled where necessary, and painted. These bearings for the main shaft appear to be okay, but I may replace them. I'm not quite sure yet. I'll make that decision. But there's a lot of work to be done here. These are more intricate pieces that, for instance, this piece here, you can see where the paint's come off. This is all filling, all filled from the factory where it was built, and I try and replicate that and smooth it all off as best I can. The more prep you do, the better the finish, obviously. But there's a fair bit of work still to be done on these, and I'll show you that process as I go through it over the next months and maybe even longer. But I will document this and keep up with the progress as we go, and hopefully in a couple of years' time we'll get an end result. A lot of work to be done there on the lathe itself and the cupboard, and when I picked this lathe up, it's set up for 3-phase. I've only got 2-phase here at home, so I need to somehow convert it back to 2-phase, or put some kind of an inverter on it or whatever. I'm not fully up to the electronics part of it, but I might need some help in that regard. Okay, thanks very much for watching, and look out over the next few months, and I may get some of these pieces restored as well. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.